All right, we're diving deep today, and I mean that literally. We're looking at a brand new piece of technology that could seriously reshape global power. We're talking about China's new undersea cutter and what it means for the silent war that's already being fought on the ocean floor. So, picture this. Beneath the waves, there's this massive invisible network. These are the digital arteries of our planet. Subsea data cables connecting entire continents, carrying the absolute lifeblood of our modern world. Just how important are they? Well, get this. A staggering 95% of all global internet traffic, we're talking your emails, your banking, military communications, literally everything, travels through these cables. Our world just runs on this hidden infrastructure. Which brings us to a really chilling question. What happens when a global power builds the perfect tool to sever these vital connections, and to do it with both precision and, more importantly, deniability? Well, according to a report from the China Ship Scientific Research Center, it seems they've done exactly that. So let's break down this pretty sophisticated new tool that has sent some serious shockwaves through the global intelligence community. Now, this is not a simple pair of shears. No way. We're talking about a compact, highly advanced submersible tool, and its whole purpose, its entire reason for being, is to cut through the toughest, most heavily armored cables on the planet. Its body is forged from a titanium alloy. And why is that important? Well, it's built to withstand the absolutely crushing, immense pressure of the deep sea. We're talking about forces that would crumple lesser materials in an instant. And this is where the alarm bells really start going off. It's designed to operate at depths of 4,000 meters. To put that in perspective, that's way deeper than the 1,500 to 2,000 meters where most cables are laid. This puts infrastructure we thought was secure well within its reach. So how does it actually cut? It uses a diamond-coated grinding wheel that spins at up to 3,000 revolutions per minute. This thing is an absolute beast, built to just slice through layers of steel wire, rubber, and polymer. Its industrial power meets surgical precision. But here's the thing. While this technology feels like something from the future, the strategy behind it? It's over a century old. This is really just the latest chapter in a long, long history of undersea warfare. I mean, just look at this timeline. This is not a new tactic. Way back in 1914, one of Britain's first moves in World War I was to cut Germany's telegraph cables. Then, during the Cold War, the U.S. submarine USS Halibut famously tapped into Soviet lines. And just recently, we've seen these super suspicious incidents in the Baltic. The game hasn't changed, only the tools have gotten a lot scarier. And all this operates in this modern realm that experts call gray warfare. Basically, these are hostile acts that are specifically designed to be deniable. You use civilian assets, you create accidents, and that way a nation can hit its strategic goals, like messing up an adversary's economy, without ever officially crossing the line into open war. It's all about creating doubt. And this right here really shows you that shift in tactics. It used to be obvious military submarines, like the USS Halibut, conducting these secret missions. Now it's civilian-flagged cargo ships, like the Chinese-owned Yipeng 3, causing damage that's just conveniently blamed on anchor-dragging accidents. See? It's the modern playbook of plausible deniability. So let's take a look at how these gray zone tactics are already playing out and the massive risks this new technology poses to, well, all of us. And hey, this isn't some theoretical threat. Just look at the pattern. In 2023, Taiwan's Matsu Islands were suddenly cut off. A few months later, cables in the Baltic were severed. Then it happened again in 2024, and again near Taiwan in early 2025. These don't seem like random accidents. This looks like a clear pattern of disruption in some pretty critical hotspots. The economic stakes here are just astronomical. One study estimated that if a single major transoceanic cable went down for just 48 hours, it could cost the global economy over $1.2 trillion. That's trillion with a T. So, what's the bottom line? A coordinated attack, using a tool just like China's new cutter, could paralyze international banking, disrupt military command and control, and honestly, bring daily life to a grinding halt. The global vulnerability here is immense. So the big question becomes, how are the U.S. and its allies prepared to deal with this? Well, the West has its own capabilities for sure, but it plays the game very, very differently. And this really shows the stark contrast in strategy. China's approach is what you might call brazen disclosure. They unveil this tool, and that itself is a form of psychological warfare. It's a threat of what they could do. The US and NATO? They rely on veiled capabilities, a strategy of deterrence through ambiguity. Make your rivals guess what you're really capable of, and hope that uncertainty stops them from ever trying anything. And the prime example of this is the USS Jimmy Carter. It's a highly modified Seawolf-class submarine, which means it's one of the quietest, most advanced undersea platforms ever built. Now, its full capabilities are top secret, but it's widely believed to be the premier tool for this kind of subsea espionage, with advanced systems for both tapping and, yes, potentially severing cables. So what's the path forward? Well, a recent German Marshall Fund report laid out some pretty key steps. First, you've got to enhance undersea surveillance, because you can't protect what you can't see. Second, you have to strengthen partnerships with the private companies that actually own most of these cables. Third, you need to clearly define who in the military is responsible for defending them. And finally, you have to bolster coordination between allies, because this is a shared global problem. You know, a line from the source material just captures this new reality perfectly. These cables, once passive conduits, are now active fronts in a global contest. They're not just passive pieces of infrastructure anymore. They're an active battle space in a struggle for power and influence. And that leaves us with one final, pretty chilling question. With the pattern of disruptions we're already seeing, and with the unveiling of this new weapon, are we just getting ready for a future conflict? Or, in this silent war, has the first shot already been fired?